What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here, bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. We are once again using a team built by KantoClark, who's a friend to the channel, and it has some really cool stuff like this Gudra, which can have a weakness policy triggered by Comfy. You also do have Raichu to provide a lot of support, as well as Charizard Torkoal for that powerful Sun combination, and Rillaboom to round things out. So looking at the first game, it's Kartana, Porygon 2, Grimmsnarl with Dragovich, Urshifu, and Chandelure. So what I'm thinking is I do like Raichu a lot. I think the fact that Raichu can nuzzle a lot of these big threats is really big. Comfy is also a big deal because of the fact that we do have super effective damage onto a lot of things. So I'm going to lead with Comfy, and I like Rillaboom. Rillaboom for the fake out pressure is really nice. So let's do that, and I think Raichu and then probably Charizard as the main max option to kind of wrap things up. Yeah, Charizard does have Airstream, so basically I want to get Charizard in a position where it can kind of clean things up, and I think the other three will really help with that. It is unfortunate though that we don't have Torkoal to provide the Sun, but I don't really think Torkoal made the most sense for the rest of it. There are some tricky situations we obviously have to worry about, but we can kind of deal with those as they come out. So my opponent is going to lead with Porygon 2 and Grimmsnarl, which is actually okay. I think the fact that we have knockoff on, what's it called? We have knockoff on Rillaboom really helps against Porygon to immediately weaken its defensive capability, and that'll really help in the long run. So we are going to see them getting a special attack boost, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think we could just reverse the Trick Room. That's like not a bad option. I'm going to actually Draining Kiss and go for, do I want to Fake Out? I think I'm okay with Trick Room because of the fact that, what's it called? We can reverse it with Comfy, and we do get some big damage onto the Grimmsnarl. And okay, so they are eject button, which is really good to know. They don't get to go for it at this point, which is nice, and we get to stop the screens. But we are going to see they are going to bring on Dragovich, which I think is fine in the long run because we do have priority. We can stop it going for a big vicious rend. So I'm fine at this point to double up into it, expecting it to have something like the Life Orb. So we can pretty easily do Draining Kiss here, and then we know that they have Grimmsnarl. We do have Raichu. I think Grassy Glide is better because the objective is to get rid of this Dragovich, because that's really what's scary. I'm not super worried unless they're maxing Porygon, which is a thing that comes up, and I think that they probably are maxing Porygon, right? Yep. Okay, so unfortunately it is like what I was afraid of. They're maxing Porygon. We know they have a special attack boost. Let's see what happens here. I think they pretty clearly baited out me into attacking into them using Dragovich. So we're going to connect to the Grassy Glide. Let's see how much this does. It does a sizable chunk. Comfy takes that actually really well, which is good to know. Sorry, I'm taking some water because I'm really dehydrated. So Vicious Rend connects. Unfortunately, they do knock out Comfy, but I think at this point we can knock out the Dragovich with one more hit. So what I'm thinking is, I think a max Charizard should be able to live a hit from Porygon. So this is a little bit of a tricky spot because of the fact that we're not really dealing with them too well. But I think if we can get off the Wildfire, we're in a good spot, and then we can easily go for another glide into Dragovich. And so what I'm hoping is using the fact that they can't recover right now, we can really start chipping away at their HP, especially if we can pick up a knockoff the subsequent turn to get rid of any sort of like defensive boost. So they're going to switch out to Grimmsnarl, which is fine. I'm hoping to get a decent enough chunk onto Grimmsnarl that we can stop any sort of screen from coming through. But this is, I think, really risky, and it depends on how much damage we take from this Porygon. But I feel like a combination of Wildfire and a Grassy Glide should finish off Grimmsnarl. So, yep, we're going to connect. It's going to do, yeah, a decent chunk. They are going to get the Hailstorm into Rillaboom, which I'm expecting to pick up the knockout. Yeah, which is unfortunate because we are Assault Vest, but we do guarantee the knockout onto, what's it called? Onto the Grimmsnarl. We know that they have a Dragovich, which is also knocked out. And, yeah, I would have really liked the knockout there. Or not the knockout, the knockoff. But we do get a bunch more chip damage as a result of Wildfire and, Wildfire and the Hail. And they don't have a reliable recovery right now, but they still do have Grassy Terrain, and we are losing a bunch of health as a result of Life Orb. So I think what's going to end up happening is we are going to have to get the Porygon paralyzed and then try and beat it from there. But we can, how many turns of Trick Room are left? There are still 2 turns of Trick Room. I think we still have to just go for the Wildfire damage and then fake out into Dragovich to stop it from going for any sort of damage. And then the question just being is, are we going to have enough output into this Porygon? We're going to see them switch out, so we're going to figure out what their last is. And their last is a Kartana, which is actually a pretty good position to be in, I think, overall. We're going to see a Phantasm into Raichu. I need Raichu to live, but it's probably not. Yeah, Raichu goes down. And this is a really tricky spot to be in. I think Charizard does still have the potential to solo. We did get a crit, which is really big. Yeah, it's what we can try and, because their max is over, but they are going to be faster under Trick Room, so that means that they can recover off all the damage. We do have to target that Kartana, and we have to. Oh, they still they have their max is over. Yeah, so their max is over. They're gonna probably recover with Porygon, and so what I'm thinking is, we Wildfire into Kartana to eliminate that, and then we can protect against the Dragovich, and it'll then be 1v1 of Charizard versus Porygon. But this Porygon can, like I said, stall us out, which is unfortunate. Ugh, and they... Whoa, what? Kartana... Okay, I did not expect Kartana to be faster. But I think, though, that should seal us the game then, because we should have one more turn. We have one more turn of Wildfire. Porygon should go down this turn, and what that means is we can just protect against the Dragovich, and we should be able to live. What's it called? We should be able to live another turn of the Hail. There is no more Grassy Terrain, so I think using Protect against Dragovich should finish things off, because it is so low, it's not going to get recovery, and we do have one more turn, right? We have Wildfire left, right? Yeah, there's one turn of Wildfire left, so we should be able to safely Protect, and then they should go down to Wildfire. I don't think Hail will finish us off unless they have like Feint. Yep, they're going to go for Vicious Rend. We're going to Protect, and then the question is, do we live? 13 down to 4. Perfect. Yep, and then that should put them in wildfire range. Yeah, nice. Okay. That was definitely a really close match. There were a lot of points where I think it got really tricky, and I think Porygon attacking and then Charizard living made a huge deal, because if they had gone for recover, I don't think we would have been able to stall them out, especially because they still had something in the back. So I think the fact that Charizard was able to kind of finish things off really put us in a good position overall. Do they have their team? No, I was going to see if they had their team visible to know what the set was on the Porygon, because Porygon offensive has become a thing. I know it did really well in the past 2 Players Cups, so I was interested to see that. But yeah, good first match, and let's just keep the momentum moving and move right to game 2. All right, game number 2, and it is Thundurus Incineroar with Kartana, Regieleki, Tapu Fini, and Urshifu. So this is a very, 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 very physical team, and I really like Goodra into it as a result. I think other than Tapu Fini, Goodra has a really good matchup. So does Rillaboom. So I definitely want Goodra. I definitely want Rillaboom. I think Raichu is also a really good option. So what? We can Goodra Comfey with Rillaboom Raichu. I think that's probably the best option. What's a little bit tricky though is what am I saying? If they have Thundurus go for an Airstream, or Thundurus going for anything will result in Gooey triggering, and if I don't knock it out immediately, I am in a little bit of a bind. But this Goodra is max defense. It's bold max defense, so it should be able to definitely tank a physical hit, which is most of my opponent's team. So we're going to see Thundurus Regieleki. Okay. I still think the obvious play is to go for Ice Beam into... we want to Ice Beam into Thundurus and then not really worry about the Regieleki for now. Draining Kiss into Goodra. Yeah, because... Okay, so they're going to max. I think we should be able to live the 2 hits. I know that we're going to have to live an Electroweb and probably a Max Lightning. No, not a Max Lightning, a Max Airstream, which is a little bit tough. But I think if we do, we should be in a really... What? Oh, no. I forgot to click Max again. Oh, God. I need to stop doing that. I need to stop forgetting to click Max. Oh, that was a huge... They're going to Knuckle, so there's a chance that I live. And they're going into Comfey, which isn't the end of the world. They are Life Orb, which is good to know, but they do have the light screen up. This didn't do nearly as much as I would have liked, but I think a Max Hailstorm should be able to finish it off. I could Ally Switch. I'm going to Ally Switch. Okay, first of all, I'm going to actually make sure to max the Goodra this time. I'm going to Hailstorm here, and I expect them to hit into Goodra with an Airstream. So what I'm hoping is we can get the Ally Switch to stop that and then finish them off. And I think if we get that, we'll be in a really good position. I'm really thankful they went for that Knuckle, because that could have been really, really bad. Probably game ending if they had hit into me there. So we get the Ally Switch off, always good. Let's see, probably an Electroweb. They're going to Volt Switch into Goodra. Goodra's going to take nothing. So that suggests to me that they're actually targeting into the what was Goodra slot, so the Comfey slot. And they're going to bring out Incineroar, which isn't super scary. We don't actually have a really good way of dealing with Incineroar. we can just kind of like lower its stats. We are going to see the Airstream, and yep, it's going to go into Comfy. Comfy, unfortunately, is going to go down, but I think we should be able to knock out Ensign. I mean, not Ensign, knock out Thunderous, and even if we don't, we do have Rillaboom, which has that that pressure with Grassy Glide. That's what I'm looking for. So we do, yep, okay, we're going to finish this off. Nice. Always a great position to be in. We have a really healthy Goodra. The issue, though, is that Incineroar is going to be faster, so whatever I bring in most likely will have to just eat a Fake Out, and I can't really stop that. But I don't necessarily know if you want to target into not... I mean, they could... I'm going to go with Rillaboom, because what I'm thinking is I want to be able to Fake Out the Incineroar in the event that it tries to Parting Shot into Goodra. So they're going to bring out Regieleki, probably another screen, but I still think the best answer is to Fake Out into Incin and then go for a Max Dragon. We do luckily have a good amount of turns left and aren't really that threatened from what's on the field. So I'm going to Fake Out here and then Max Wormwind into... I'm going to Max Wormwind into Incin. Aleki doesn't scare me that much. And unfortunately, they are going to Fake Out into Rillaboom, which did... Oh, crit. I was going to say, it did a little bit more than I would have liked. They're going to Electroweb. I think that that's fine. Neither of them are taking too much damage. Goodra's HP is getting a little bit low, but I think it is such a bulky Pokemon that it's not super, super concerning. Okay, so Incin is low, and I think one more Wormwind should be able to finish it off. The fear, obviously, though, is if they go for a Parting Shot. Okay, so they do have the Berry. I do expect a Parting Shot, but I don't actually think that that's a super big deal. And I think we can start getting some damage onto the Aleki using, oh, no, I was going to say, oh, the Aleki has leftovers. Just kidding. It's Grassy Terrain. Yeah, let's try and Fake Out. I mean, not Fake Out. Let's try and Grassy Glide into the Aleki, which I expect to be a little bit bulky. But every little bit of chip matters. And then I think another Max Wormwind here is the right play. Grassy Glide connects. We're going to do over half, which is nice, because if we can have Rillaboom live this next turn, we can get rid of Aleki. The problem, though, is Goodra, yeah, is just getting so low. They're going to just go for the Flare Blitz, which is an interesting choice. And Rillaboom lives, which is also a really big deal, because now we're going to be able to connect with this Wormwind and into Incin. Yeah, Incin just hangs on, and I forget. I think Hail goes first. So if Hail goes first and we get rid of Incin, yeah, okay, so Hail's going to damage it first. So the Incin's going to go down. We do still have Rillaboom around for Grassy Glide into Aleki. So the question then is, what do they have in the back? Because, yeah, Aleki is going to take another, what's it called, Grassy Glide and go down, which suggests to me it's just max speed, max special attack. And then we still have Raichu with Fake Out pressure, which is good. And it's Urshifu. Okay, Urshifu is actually a pretty good spot to be in, because we do have Raichu, which can Fake Out, and I think given the fact that we can Grassy Glide into here and then go for a Dragon Pulse here is nice, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to break any sort of sash. We have Fake Out the subsequent turn, and if we knock out Aleki, yeah, okay. That's great, because now we know that Urshifu can only single target, and it's going to Wicked Blow most likely into, yep, into Goodra. Goodra's going to go down. We do lower its speed, which is a big deal, because now we can bring out Raichu. Raichu will be faster, and what? We have Rillaboom, which is going to live. So we have the fear of Fake Out onto Urshifu, and then I think a combination of what's it called? Volt Switch and Volt Switch and Grassy Glide should KO it. I think we still play it safe. We go for a Grassy Glide and a Fake Out in the event that they choose not to protect. But I can't really see them do that. Yeah, and what's nice is Urshifu can only pick one target. Okay, so they are going to attack, and that's nice because now we do get the Fake Out off. We are going to be able to get the big Grassy Glide damage, and I think now using a combination of Volt Switch, which is going to do significantly more than Fake Out, and the Grassy Glide, we should be able to finish it off. There still is Grassy Terrain, which is good, so we can do this, and then Volt Switch here. They're going to protect, yeah, okay, I think they're just trying to stall out at this point the electric terrain, the Grassy Terrain, so that way I don't get priority on my Grassy Glide, and they can recover some HP. So I do expect a double protect, but I don't want to. Okay, and it's gone now. So probably the correct play is for them to. I want to say target into Raichu. They're gonna Sucker Punch Smart into Raichu. Raichu lives, which is a really big deal. We are gonna be able to get. Yikes! That did nothing at all. But I mean, they can't double up. Yeah, because you can only pick one with Urshifu. It doesn't have a spread move. So I think as a result, it's so low that one of these will be able to get through and finish them off. Because yeah, if you probably want to go for Rillaboom, right? Okay, so you're gonna knock out Raichu. Raichu's gonna go down, but this Grassy Glide will finish you off, right? Perfect. Cool. So that one, wow, talk about some really big nail biters there. I was definitely a little bit scared that whole time. I do want to see, come on, show me your team. Don't have a team. Nice. Yeah, we're doing real well with this team, and I'm glad that as I was playing with it some more, I learned about the synergies and how it worked, and let's keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. All right, game number 3, and we see another similar Hawlucha. It is Hawlucha with Bronzong, Amoonguss, Mamoswine, that Tapu Koko, and Heatran. This is tricky because this team literally has no answer to Heatran. Yeah, there's literally nothing I can do to it. Hawlucha, I expect the coaching into Hawlucha. So we could Rillaboom Goodra with the idea that we can Fake Out into Hawlucha. Or we could Raichu. That's tempting. Raichu Goodra with the idea that we Fake Out and deal damage. Yeah, what do I do against Heatran? I think Rilla Goodra. Torkoal for sure. And then Charizard. Yeah, I think this is hard. There is no. Yeah, this team has no fighting or ground. So, I mean, Heatran's not very common, which is really nice. But the fact that I'm bringing a Fire Core against it also is not fun. Okay, so we are going to see Mamoswine with Hawlucha, which is a little bit nice, because now what I expect is... Actually, this is really tricky. Because the question now is, where's the weakness policy? Because you could Ice Shard... You could Ice Shard from Mamoswine to trigger Hawlucha, which is something I've done. So I'm I'm going to fake out the Mamoswine. And I'm going to Hailstorm the Hawlucha. This is, I think, a really, really high risk, high reward play. Because the issue, though, is if I get this wrong, and if Mamoswine maxes and Hawlucha does coaching onto Mamoswine, I think that's a really bad position. But like I, at the beginning of this month, had built a team with Hawlucha, and originally I was going to use weakness policy Hawlucha with Mamoswine. So they are going to bring out Tapu Koko, which is nice because Tapu Koko I think is a big threat to the team, and if we can get big damage onto it, that's a really big deal. The tricky part though is, that's actually really scary. Because yeah, they're gonna get Mamoswine. They're gonna get a max on Mamoswine, which, like I said, high risk, high reward. Because the smarter play would have just been to hit into that. We know that they can't. We know that they can't Ice Shard, which is nice. And I'm hoping to take out the Koko, but the problem is they pretty much have a guaranteed Hailstorm into whatever they want, and I don't expect either of these to live it, especially given the fact that even if Goodra does live it, Mamoswine has, what's it called? It has Oblivious, so it's not going to get the speed drop from Gooey. So we're going to see the Hailstorm. It's going to go into Rillaboom. So that's actually a decent situation, because now, depending on how much damage we do to Koko, we can bring out Charizard and try and go for a really big Heat Wave. And let's see how much this Hailstorm does. Probably not much because we don't have the policy triggered. That did actually a lot more than I expected. It did over half. And so we're going to slowly start chipping away at this Koko, which isn't really the threat anymore. I think still the right play is Charizard to try and get a big Heat Wave off. The question, though, is will Koko be enough to take me out? I think... I think this is a little bit of a risk. Koko... Okay, Koko's going to protect, which is fine. Charizard... Okay, Charizard's faster than Mamoswine, which is a really good thing to know. Heat Wave is going to... Wow, do a really sizable chunk onto Mamoswine, which is a really nice feeling. You're going to Hailstorm into Charizard, it looks like. Into Goodra. Goodra is going to go 330 to 0, which... yeah, that... I don't know if that crit really mattered, but that crit is definitely unfortunate. Yeah, I do want to run the calc to see if we would have lived. Because what? I can bring out Torkoal, and I think like Charizard should be able to finish both of them off, I think, at this point, but like it's gonna take so much recoil as a result of the solar power and the life orb, and the fact that it has to take a hit from Koko. So I'm gonna go for this. I think it's the safest option. Yeah, because you're gonna Wild Charge. I need Charizard to live. Yeah, that's game. I do want to run... Yeah, there's no way, because you're going to Quake into me with the... What's it called? With the Mamoswine. Yep, there's Max Quake. That's going to finish me off. Yep. That's tough. I do want to check... I do want to run a damage calc, though, real quick on the Goodra to see if it should have lived an Icicle Crash from Mamoswine. Because I think that would have made a really big difference. Because having Goodra be able to knock out that Tapu Koko would have let me not worry about taking one more hit and surviving. The stupid add-on Pikalytics. So let's go to this team. Goodra, damage calc. I think I should have lived. This is an incredibly bulky Goodra. And while I know Mamoswine is also like really powerful, it didn't have a life orb. So yeah, and it didn't have a life orb, and it didn't have a weakness policy either. So it wasn't like it was getting absurd boosts. Sorry, it's loading now. Mamoswine. I want to say that crit mattered. It looks like it did. Right? If we are Dynamax versus... Yeah, I'm just going to go with assume it's Jolly Max Attack, Dynamax in the Hail. So looking at a Hailstorm, yeah, that crit, looking at the calc, they needed the crit to knock me out, which is, like I said, it's really frustrating, but that is just like the way the game works sometimes. But overall, like, I'm glad we got some really cool matches with this team, and not sure if I'll use it tomorrow. There are a bunch of teams that I still want to keep playing through, so maybe one more to be determined. But yeah, until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.